and welcome to Imbalancing the Spectrum with your host, Jose. And today's topic is actually one that I think most of us, if not all of us, can relate to having, experiencing, and even acting upon them. I am talking about love languages or love expressions. I won't go as far as saying that they are separate from one another because they're not, but there are slight differences, at least from my perspective, my perspective. And that perspective is that love languages, if you want to put a label on it, love languages is how you receive intimacy from others, how you receive that human connection with another person. That's your love language. And as for your love expression, it is one that you act upon, something you do for somebody else. That's your love expression. So, for me, love languages is what fuels you as a person, getting to know another person on a human level. As for your expression, it's how you express yourself towards other human beings on a human level. To start, when you look up love languages, you'll usually find 5 love languages, and if I remember correctly, it's physical touch, spending time together, or spending time with somebody else, uh, receiving gifts, doing something for somebody else, and uh, verbal love language. Now, real quick, I'm gonna look that up just to fact check myself before I start saying something that isn't out there. So, okay, here we go. How to speak your partner's love language. They have 5 written down. Words of words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service, doing something for somebody else. So, okay, this to me, what they define as love languages. This to me is love expressions because that's how you express your love for somebody else. And a lot of people have intertwined um, love expressions, and just depending on the person, to be honest. I've said this before to somebody else. You don't act the same around everybody as in general. You have a unique experience with an individual, and you treat those people differently. It's not favoritism, it's not anything like that. It's just the way you treat them as a person. You're gonna treat them uniquely. And, um, well, yeah. these different forms of expression come with a love language. Now, what are love languages? Well, I could speak for me. Um, I know that my love language is emotional. It comes with feelings and emotions. So, if it's about doing something for somebody else, it's because I want to make them feel like I have their back. I want them to feel like they can count on me. And I want them to feel like they have someone that could say, hey, you are my ride or die. Just to put it simply, you're my ride or die. And you make me feel comfortable with you enough to opening up about myself, and the fact that you're willing to do something for me tells me that you actually care as a person. Um, so it can come as doing things for other people or talking. Conversation is big with me. When I'm talking to someone, um, I want them to feel and make me feel like we see each other. I see you, you see me. We're both people in general. We don't have to agree with each other. We don't have to coddle each other. Just as long as you see me as a person, respect me as a person, and don't project yourself onto me or me onto you, that's a genuine connection in, by itself. So, as for the other languages, we said um, conversation, words of our affirmation, as they call it. Um, what else would you say? Oh, acts of service, doing something for somebody else. Okay, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So, what they call these love languages, those three for me: physical touch. Um, I don't like being touched. I just don't like being touched. And I feel like if I do allow you to touch me, it's because in one level or another, or multiple levels, you make me feel comfortable enough to allow you to touch me. As for touching other people, I don't feel the need to touch people unless something's telling me, oh, they need physical contact right now. They need a hug, they need a pat on the back, they need a high five, whatever it may be. If something in me tells me that person needs physical contact, I'll do it. And more so than not, it will be reciprocated. And as for gifts, for me, if I gift you something, I will try my best to put everything that I know about you into a gift. If I know you like art and different ways of creative expression, such as music, books, whatever it may be. I will try to incorporate that into your gift, but also I will try to incorporate your emotions into that gift. And it can be as simple as making you breakfast, making you your favorite meal. And if I don't know your favorite meal, I'll try to feel your feelings and incorporate it into that meal. When I do cook, I cook with emotion, and most people that have had my food enjoy it. The people that haven't enjoyed it, um, I've noticed that it's because they have an emotional blockage. They don't do good with emotions. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best cook in the world. I'm not. Mostly, I just experiment with flavors and different combinations. So I'll never cook the same dish the same way twice in a row because I'm feeling or I'm incorporating feelings into that dish. So when it comes to these so-called love languages, I incorporate me myself. I incorporate emotions and feelings into them. Spending time with somebody else. Like, if I'm spending time with you, you will more likely see me pay attention to you and not be on my phone. I'll put down my phone and usually I'll put it, if I have it in my hand, I'll put it face down if I'm sitting right in front of you. I'll put it face down. That's me telling you, you have my full attention. If it rings, if I get texts, if I get notifications, I'll let it be. I'll ignore it because my focus is on you. Um, but just like I don't like being touched or touching others without consent, um, there are people who do enjoy that, and that's their way, their love expression intertwines with their love language. Again, my love language, emotional. It intertwines with every single one of these love expressions. And as for other people, I know people that are very touchy, and when they're spending time with you, they need to hold your hand. That's their way of saying, I'm here, we're here, let's just be here together. Um, or when they're talking to you, when they talk to you, maybe they feel the need to put their hand on your shoulder, your hand, wherever they feel that you need body contact in order to make you feel heard, in order to make you feel like they themselves, as they're speaking to you, are transmitting to you and you only. When it comes to um, acts of service, doing something for somebody else, if you're a physical person, like let's say um, you wanna make breakfast for me. If your love language is physical, you might feel the need to hug me as if to say, This is this breakfast I made for you and you only. And well, another thing that I've thought about is a love language is how we perceive it. We not perceive it as we receive it. My love language is emotional. I feel the need to receive emotions and feelings from another person, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel at peace. If I don't feel that from you, there's gonna be friction. There's gonna be something that's not gonna be fully there. Maybe my trust might not be fully there, or I won't feel comfortable in general around you because that emotional feeling is not there. Same thing goes for other people with different love languages. If they're not being touched, if they're not receiving gifts, if somebody else isn't doing something for them, um, they might feel rejected, neglected. Um, they might feel like the trust is off, something's off in them because that's what their um, love language is asking for them. So, again, love languages are our personal feel for ourselves as people. Love expressions is the fuel we give to others by giving them their love language combined with our own. So it's something tricky that people have to figure out a lot of the time. A lot of the time we don't know what the other person's love language may or may not be. So you just have to figure that out through conversation. I would say would be your best bet. Um, you could always straight up ask them, but if you're intuitive, then you can get a feeling of what their love language is because as you talk to them, let's say if I'm talking to you with feeling, with emotion, kind of get to know you on an emotional level, and you're blocking yourself from me, you're not opening yourself up to me, that to me tells me that you're emotional, uh, that you are emotionally blocked. Therefore, an emotional love language will not work for you the best. But maybe conversation, words of affirmation will, or giving you a gift, surprising you with something, um, taking you out to eat, spending time with you. Maybe that's your more of your love language. And I'm pretty sure there's more than just 5 love languages. Like mine isn't even on the list. So there are people who respond differently depending on their individual and unique love language. But just because we have love languages that we don't respond to very well does not mean that we're not open to receiving that sort of a love expression. Sorry, that love expression. Me not being the touchy person or being touched. I'm open to being touched if I'm comfortable with you. If we build an emotional connection, I might allow you to give me hugs, cuddle, high five me. I really don't have a thing for high fives. Meaning, a high five for me is just a high five. But when I give it to somebody else, usually I'm giving it to them to give them a sense of validation or gratification, because I might feel like they need it at that moment. If you're doing math and you're like, hey, I got it right, high five. I feel like you need the gratification, therefore I give you a high five. That's how my mind works, my emotions work. And I know that when it comes to social interactions, a lot of us are weary about social interactions because we might overthink to ourselves. If I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna make them feel bad. But really, what you should do is, if you do say the wrong thing, hey, can you tell me why it is that what I say offended you? So I know the reason that it offended you and that I don't repeat that mistake again. Now, I've had similar conversations with people where I might say something the wrong way that totally makes sense to me because my mind operates different from theirs. And I'll ask them, what did I say that could have offended you? And a lot of the times I'll be told, like, you should know what you said was wrong. And I'll repeat myself, like, I really don't know what I said. This is what I said, and this is the way I meant it. But you're still offended because of the way I said it, not the way I meant it. And usually they'll tell me, whether you meant it that way or not, you didn't say it that way, so really, you didn't mean it that way. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, this person means a lot to me. What can I say to make them feel better and to make them feel comfortable with me again? They're not feeling comfortable with me. And it's come to the point for me, it's been a journey, because all these love expressions through my love language have been a bitch. I've been there for people. I've had their back. They've had my support. And at the end, it didn't really mean anything to them because I realized that they kept me around so that they could use me. if I was doing something for them, whether it be um, an act of service, such as cleaning their place, cooking for them, whatever it may be, an act of service. I did it not expecting anything in return. I did it because uh, it was innately, or not innately, instinctive to my nature. My nature is to help. If I had been someone's comfort, emotionally speaking, verbally speaking, letting them vent to me, it's also happened that they take advantage of me. So I end up being their handkerchief that they feel they can use at any time. And it comes to pointing out patterns. First, recognize the patterns, then point them out to yourself. Third, point them out to the other person and create a boundary. If they're not okay with that boundary, they're basically saying, screw you, or, okay, I don't want to make this sound like I'm telling you this directly to you, so I've been in this situation when they've told me, screw you, you only think about yourself, you make yourself seem so important when you're not, and I give you all this time, when in my mind I'm like, wait, hold on, that whole time that we've interacted with one another, I was the one supporting you emotionally, physically, verbally, whatever the case had been. I took time out of my day to be there for you, expecting nothing in return because it was instinctive in my nature. I'm the type of person that cares about people in general. And, well, a lot of the time, a lot of the times, people expect you to be there for them because you are responding to them in their love language. And as I said before, love language is our personal fuel. So if you are fueling them constantly through their love language, um, you're using love expression to fuel them, but they're using you to fuel them in whatever way that they need, whether it's verbal communication, non-verbal communication, um, emotional, physical. A lot of times there are people who overcompensate uh, with physical expression, because that might be their love language. And I've actually noticed this within myself. Like I said, I'm not the touchy feely person. Well, when I say touchy feely, I mean physical contact, physical touch. But I have noticed within me that there are times that I do feel the need to be hugged, the need to be touched and listened to, for somebody to physically look at me, see what my uh, gestures are, just see me as a person and feel me as a person. And we can enter in bad habits ourselves. Just like I mentioned that other people can use you to feel their own love language, we could do the same thing to other people. And in my case, what I discovered within me has been that when I do feel like I need to be touched, I I redirect myself towards hookups because emotionally with my family, well, I have emotional support to a certain extent, but when it comes to like physical emotional, which is what my body asks for, it's more so asking for the touch of a partner, the comfort that a partner gives you, whether it's just cuddling, giving you a hug, a kiss on the cheek, whatever it may be. So when I do feel like that, yes, I redirect myself towards hookups. It's an unhealthy habit for me that when I do feel like being touched, that's my go-to. And it doesn't happen frequently, but when it does, after that interaction, I feel what I used to confuse for guilt, but now I realize it's shame. And I know in previous episodes I did mention that shame usually comes from what other people may think about you or what other people may say about you. But in this case, um, shame is inherently tied to what I think about myself. And what that is I look at myself, I sit with myself, and I'm like, you stupid hoe, you don't have to go look for hookups. Just to get a little bit of physical emotion, a little bit of physical expression from another person. Um, what you have to look for is you have to look for a chosen family, not blood family. A chosen family that you feel comfortable with and that you can accept yourself with around them as well. That's what it is for me. The fact that I still struggle with accepting myself fully around my family, even though I come off as this person who is so confident, there's still a block in me that I'm trying to get over that tells me you can't be who you are around your family because They will never accept you fully. They will never comprehend you fully. Um, and at least in my past, with past friendships, I felt accepted as for who I was. I was accepted for my beliefs, my practices, how I identify, the way I interact with other people, the way I interacted with their blood families. I just felt welcomed and accepted. That is not to say that my blood family doesn't welcome me or accept me. It's actually the opposite. They do accept me, but I know that within every family member that I do have, there's only so much that they can accept me, and with each family member that I do have, whatever family member number one accepts me in, family member number two does not. Family member number three might accept me in two other ways that the other two family members don't. So really, it's just me missing that that feeling of being accepted wholeheartedly, and that feeling of instant connection. Because when you have that instant connection with a person, you feel like you don't even have to explain yourself at all. And that rarely happens. And I can actually talk a little bit more about why that instant connection happens, or at least what I believe why it happens. Which leads me to twin flames and soulmates. So, a lot of people think that twin flames and soulmates are the same thing. And for a long time, I thought that they were the same thing. But as my inner journey progressed, I learned that there were differences. In my spiritual journey, through many spiritual awakenings, I learned that when you have a twin flame, let's start with twin flame. When you have a twin flame, you are so alike that it comes to the point where you're too much alike, and the closer you get to one another, you create this big fire, this open fire, and both of you can end up getting burned. So how does this happen? Let's say that you meet somebody, you make an instant connection because you can relate to them. And why is it a twin flame? Why do they call it a twin flame? Because you relate to them so much that it's like looking in a mirror. you, yourself, and your twin flame are holding up mirrors to each other. So you're reflecting to each other those similar parts that you have, but you're also holding up those parts that you can't accept to yourself, that you can't admit to yourself. Like, I've talked about my ex and everything that we went through, but I didn't talk about how he affected me in a positive way. So when I met him, I was so full of doubt, of shame, of that inner saboteur inside me. But at the time I didn't know this, now I do. He saw me as I was. He saw me as the person that I was, despite the things that he did. He saw me like nobody else saw me before, and we would actually get into, I won't say arguments, it was more like disagreements. Intense disagreements. And mostly it was about me. He would tell me I wasn't fat. I would tell him I was. I would tell myself I was ugly. He would tell me, no, you're not ugly. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. And that, to me, was like, no, you must be lying. You have to be lying. Because I know that's not true. And later on in life, after we were done, after we weren't together anymore, I started realizing that I am beautiful, I am gorgeous, I'm not bad, that I am the person that I am because I'm supposed to be this way. And I can't speak on his behalf, but I feel like since we met the year that I came out of the closet, he was still in the closet. He's out now. He's out of the closet. And I feel like because I went through that experience of being freshly out the closet with him, that he saw what I was going through and he feared that the same thing would happen to him. And eventually, he was out of the closet. He was actually found out. And yes, some bad things did happen, but as far as I know now, from the last thing he told me, I don't know how many years ago, he's in a good place with his family. And he's in full acceptance of who he is as a person. Maybe not being out of the closet was holding him back to an actual commitment, because when he was found out was when he fully committed himself to a relationship. I'm not saying he didn't want to commit, but maybe that's just one of the reasons that he was being held back. That fear that he had um, of being ostracized by the people closest to him because he is the way he is. So I digress. Uh, twin flames, mirrors to one another, bring out the good and the bad. And since you're both emotionally intense with one another, you can explode. You can create this fire that can be a detriment to your relationship. Now, do you have to be romantically involved to be either a twin flame or a soulmate? No, I don't think so. I don't believe so. You can meet people who aren't romantically involved with you, including family members, um, that can be your twin flames. Usually, and I've noticed this in different family dynamics, that we are born into twin flame territory from day zero. From day zero, you are designed to be with your twin flame family, your blood family, because you will always hold a mirror towards each other. And that's why a lot of families have burnouts. The fire is just so intense that it burns you out as a person. As for soulmates, my definition of soulmates is someone that you have an instant connection, similar to twin flame. But soulmates, you may have this instant connection that is unexplainable. You don't know why you feel like it's an instant connection, but it's there. And that doesn't mean that you're gonna be around those people forever. Well, when I say forever, I do mean in this lifetime. In your lifetime, it doesn't mean you're going to be around those people, those soulmates, forever. Sometimes soulmates are temporary. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes twin flames are temporary. Sometimes they're for the rest of your life. And you can learn to be at peace with twin flames. Whereas soulmates, usually you feel automatically at peace. I had a friend, a childhood friend, which we called each other brother sister. And, well, we met when we were little. She was 2 years younger than me. I was 7, she was 5. And there was just something instant, an instant connection. Our mothers were friends. So we got to see a lot of each other, and we actually grew up with each other because of our mother's friendship. And we were the only people that we did not have to explain to each other the way that we thought, the way that we expressed ourselves, because we got each other immediately. Me and her, we were the weird kids. We believed in supernatural things from a young age, where other people, other kids, saw the supernatural as something fun and weird and mysterious, whereas we saw it as fact. The supernatural exists. And this is just from a young age. And horror movies. We loved horror movies. We loved doing stupid shit. We loved saying stupid shit. It was just this tight knot that I thought was unbreakable. But, things happen, and there was a lot of change in her. I'm not speaking on her behalf, but I'm speaking on my experience and what I perceived from the situation. But over time, she would get attached to other people because she did grow up in a sheltered household similar to what I did. So she would build online friendships, and she would create this favoritism towards those people. And that being because she found validation with those people who weren't in her bubble, who weren't in her sheltered life, including me. I was in her sheltered life. But we grew up, we distanced, she chose to distance herself from me for many years. And I think it was about, I want to say, 5 years ago. There was a reconnection after not seeing her for 5 years. I had made peace with that, my friend, that with the fact that I wasn't going to see my friend anymore, my sister anymore. She had blocked me everywhere. She didn't want to have contact with me for whatever reason. Later, I found out through her that she was in relationships, that she invested herself fully. And when she did come back into my life, I don't know how this happened, but because her family also severed connection with me and my family after she severed her connection with me. So I don't know how this happened, but I ended up in the hospital, had very strong seizures. I wake up in the hospital. First thing I see is her parents, and then later on her. And I honestly thought I was dreaming. I was like, what is going on? But we had a brief reconnection. She was in a serious relationship, got engaged, and she was gonna marry that person. Not to put her business out there, but that relationship ended, went into another relationship, and that person that she decided to be in a relationship with was very controlling towards her. She would come to me to feel some sort of comfort, to seek advice, and she would come to me for readings as well. And even though I told her everything that was going to happen, well, that could potentially happen, but it did happen. I told her the different scenarios, the different choices she had, and how one choice could end up differently from another. She ended up going with the least positive decisions that she could make, and she got stuck in a loop. For some reason, her boyfriend, now husband, baby daddy, I don't know, was very jealous of me. He knew I was gay. He knew I am gay. And that I saw her as my sister, and that there was no way I would romantically be involved with her. So it made no sense for him to be jealous of me. Later, I learned that that jealousy came from me and her having such a strong connection, this instant knowing in one another, to the point where we don't have to explain anything to each other. We just know what we mean. And that's something that he didn't have with her. He had to constantly ask for explanations and feel like she was the only one that had to give explanations. So eventually, she chose him, and that's her life. Whether she's happy about her decision or not, well, that's her life. That's what she chose. And if she was to come back, I would let her know, no, I'm not going into that cycle of being in a loop with you. The uncertainty, the loop of an uncertainty, whether you're going to be there for me as much as I've been there for you. That's an uncertainty that we did not have as kids, but now it's there, and it will always be there for me now. So if she ever did come back, no. If I feel uncertain, it's not a good choice for me, so it's better to have you at a distance where you don't affect me, I don't affect you, and you get to make your choices based on your feeling, not based on what I may or may not tell you, which she neglected the advice I gave her anyway. So she went with what she thought was right at the moment. But that, to me, is a soulmate. They're not meant for always and forever. But they are meant to teach us lessons. Lessons that we are yet to learn, whereas twin flames teach us lessons that we should have already learned. Lessons that have been repeated over and over and over again throughout our lives. And that's what a twin flame's job is. It's for us to realize what we have to work on to surpass those lessons so we don't have to repeat them again. And I've had many twin flame experiences, but I've also had a lot of soulmate experiences, and most of them have been close friendships, at least friendships that I consider to be close enough to be considered family. But for one reason or another, those relationships get distanced, and yeah, I still remember them, but they don't affect me anymore. If they don't affect me anymore, it's because I did learn the lessons that they were meant to bring to me. And I hope that they've learned the lessons that I was meant to bring to them. And sometimes twin flames and soulmates can be people that you don't physically meet. They could be celebrities, and you don't have to meet them to know that they're your twin flames. There might be a celebrity out there that you relate to, but for some reason you can't stand. And you have to remember, twin flames hold up mirrors. So what is it that I can't stand about this celebrity? Maybe they're confident in wearing clothes that show off skin because I'm uncomfortable with showing skin. Maybe this person is comfortable cursing every single 5 minutes because I'm not comfortable feeling that way or expressing myself that way. So, whenever you relate to a celebrity or any other person that you are not in physical contact with, remind yourself, what is it that I don't like about this person and why? Why does it affect me so bad? Is that something that I have to work on? Is that something that I do or that I don't do? Ask yourself that. With soulmates, people who you don't know, you have this instant I get you feeling. I may never meet you, but I get you. I know you. And you don't have to explain yourself to me because everything that you do and that you say makes sense to me. Like, for example, a celebrity example. So in 2011, the year that I came out, a couple months after coming out, there was this song that came out, and So I wasn't allowed to listen to the radio in English. Um, Same thing for music videos. I wasn't allowed to watch English music videos. I remember watching MTV or MTV2 and MTV3. Tres was the Spanish MTV. But I remember watching MTV, and you know how you used to have the recall button that it would change to the last channel that you had it in? So whenever I heard my mom specifically come towards the TV area, I would press the recall button when I was watching MTV, and it would go to the channel that I was allowed to watch, which was, growing up, it was Toon Disney. Yeah, basically just Toon Disney, but in Spanish. But when I came out, there was this channel similar to MTV3. It was music videos, some reality shows, but for the Hispanic Latino community. And one day, this song premiered. It's called Alguien, Someone. And the whole song is in Spanish, but towards the end of the song comes in this rapper, and she's a bilingual rapper. She goes by the name of Snow the Product. This was the first song I heard her in. And if it wasn't for copyright violations and such, I don't know exactly how that works, but I know that if I do cite the song completely, there could be issues. But since the song is in Spanish, there's a loophole, maybe, possibly. We'll find out. That I could just translate what she says at the end of the song. So, at the end of the song, her verse comes in and she says, now this is a loose translation and it won't rhyme, so you won't get the feel of the flow. But she does say, before you're capable of love, you have to respect yourself. I like the way I am. Now do your part. So that's just part of it. That's just the beginning of what she says. And to me, when that song came out, I was watching the video and it just resonated with me on a deep level, on an emotional, spiritual level. I didn't realize what was going on, but in that moment, when I first heard that song, something within me was awakening. And I remember watching her feature in this song, and my first thought was the guy who actually sings the song. My first thought was, is he gay? Maybe he's gay. I don't know. Maybe just because I came out of the closet, I want everybody to be gay. Um, but no, it turned out that he is gay, and I didn't learn that till many years later. My second thought was this chick knows how to rap, and she knows how to get you to feel something. What's her name? I need to know her name. So in the credits, they credit her under the name Claudia White. They fucked up her name. So her real name is Claudia, but her stage name at the time was Snow White the Product. But Disney sued her and she had to take the white part out. So, Snow the Product, ever since, and the only reason I found out that her name was Snow the Product was because I googled her name, Claudia White. I couldn't find anything, and not on Google, not on YouTube, nothing. I couldn't find her anywhere. But maybe like a couple weeks later, if not a week later, she had this song come out, and again it was on Mundos, and that song is called Drunk Love. And you might be thinking, well, why are you promoting her songs? I'm not expecting anything in return. No, that's not it. I'm just letting you know who she is and what she means to me. So that's when I learned her name. When I see Drunk Love on Mundos, I Google her or I YouTube her right away, and I find a shit ton of songs of hers. And every single song, including Drunk Love, and also a song called Till Death. So that's those songs of hers. They are what people now are calling aggressive. Drunk Love was kind of like, it's a jam, go hear it. Drunk Love, Snow the Product. But the other songs that I heard from her, she didn't have that many released, but she did have EPs and little drops here and there. I heard all her songs, and people are calling that style of rap aggressive, but at the time I was like, I get it. I get why she raps this way. And I look back and I'm like, no, I didn't get it. I got the surface level, because back then I was like, she has anger. But now I look back at those songs, I listen to those songs, and I'm like, that anger didn't come from out of nowhere. That anger came from somewhere. And she was expressing it through songs. She was expressing it through her work. And after years of going through that process, for her, as I see her now, she was working through that anger, and maybe it's what made her be more acceptable of certain things in her life. If you want to find out about her life, go be chismosos or whatever. Go be metiches. You can check her out. Like, she'll tell you about it. You don't have to hear it from me. She can tell you about it. She's very open about a lot of her life, and you can hear her podcast. Now, you might be saying, why are you promoting somebody else's podcast? That's a dumbass move. Yeah, I don't care. For me, this is kind of therapeutic. If I get 10 listeners, 5 listeners, 4 listeners, I don't care. I really don't care. This is mostly for me and sharing what I have learned so that we could learn together. And if we form a community, that's great. But the reason for me to promote her podcast is because, first of all, I know that my podcast can be kind of bland, kind of monotone at times. And her podcast, I know that, first of all, I know that if I had somebody else to conversate with, it would be, the dynamic would be different. It wouldn't be like this. But she always has somebody to talk to. In her podcast, she's always with somebody, and it's hype. Like, they drink and have deep conversations and not so deep conversations, and it's all fun, it's all chill, it's a lit podcast. Go check it out. If you want to check it out on YouTube, because she records them, you could check her podcast at her channel or their channel, because she does the podcast with her brother. Well, her brother is behind the scenes, but anyway, the name on YouTube is Everyday Days, and I think on Spotify it's Every Night Nights. I may be wrong, but yeah, go check her out. If you want to have a more upbeat podcast to listen to, she's your go-to. Go check her out and check her music out. But okay, moving on from that. The reason I brought her up is because I've been listening to her since 2011 up until this year. And to be honest, I think I will never stop listening to her, no matter what song it is, whether it's an angry song, a love song, whatever type of vibe that song has, whether I'm happy, angry, just meh, whatever feeling I'm feeling, Snow Tha Product always, I feel her. I feel her words, and I feel the energy coming through her songs. And she doesn't do this often. She's insecure about her voice, her singing voice. But I think she has the most beautiful voice that is out there. I do wish she would show her natural voice more often, but uh, I get it. She doesn't feel secure enough to display her voice that way. But I do have a couple of clips where she would post on Snapchat, or she used to, and somebody screen recorded them, and I have them now, where she's singing mariachi. Este, specifically the one with La Mochila Azul. When I listen to that one, it's like, oh man, I wish you would do like a mariachi track. Got off track again. Sorry. I need somebody. I need somebody to tell me, like, hey, dude, get on track. I should probably put like an alarm with the that sound, like, hey, dude, get on track, like every 5 minutes. But yeah, I was saying, I've listened to her from 2011 to this year and will continue to do so. And every single song that she has released, that she's featured in, like, I get it. I get the feeling that she produces through her songs. A lot of people who are her fans or used to be her fans, they often ask her, why doesn't she rap aggressively anymore? Her answer is like, shit, like, sometimes I feel like rapping aggressive, sometimes I feel like doing something a little chill, maybe something dancey, making a bop. Like, it just depends on my mood. And she's totally right for that. But when I do watch her podcast, she'll be talking about something and then she'll kind of retract herself. Like, I'm not an advocate for whatever community, whether it's non binary, LGBT, Hispanic, which I'm not saying she's not. She is. She very much represents the Hispanic community, specifically Mexican community. She represents the LGBTQ community. It's the non-binary community. She represents it without realizing it. Or maybe she does realize it. But she will say she doesn't advocate for it because she doesn't know what she's talking about, because she doesn't like using labels. So she doesn't know what label she fits in. And it's like me. I don't really use labels for myself, but for the sake of communication, I will. And I will advocate for myself, and therefore, by a proxy, advocating for other people who relate to that. So, when she talks like that, where people ask her more about it or kind of tease her, I'm like, no, I totally get you. There's this thing with me and her. She doesn't know me at all. She doesn't. I know her through her songs and her vlogs and her podcast. They used to be called Woke Wednesdays back in the day. But I saw her go through a lot of things, and it's like at this point, I'm like, I get you because samesies. I'm kind of going through similar things or have gone through similar things. Sometimes she lacks the words to describe what she feels or how to describe something in general. And I'm like, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Say no more. And um to me, I feel like this might sound weird or stupid to people out there, but to me, she's one of my soulmates because there's that instant I get you. Don't explain yourself. I accept you as you are. You don't have to uh, explain why you are who you are. Just be quiet, be yourself, be happy for yourself. I know she's happy. I'm just saying. Um, excuse me. I guess that's the button that I'm going to be pressing when I'm drinking water. But yeah, I do consider her my one of my soulmates. She's a lesbian. I'm gay. Like it has nothing to do with romance. No, nothing. It has to do with emotional and spiritual connection. If she were to meet me in person, I'm pretty sure she'd be like, I got you. I know what you mean. Okay then. Um and it's gonna sound weird, but there's been multiple times that I've had dreams and they feel so real. Like I'm actually experiencing it. And in these dreams, I'm hanging out with her and her crew. And in one of these dreams, I remember it vividly. We went to a carne asada. Well, she came back to my place to have carne asada. And then we went out to the bar, to the club, and we were drinking tequila like crazy. And when I woke up, I was feeling hungover. Like that's how real it felt. And it's not the only dream I've had. Last night I had another dream where we were hanging out and it was like we were close friends. And to me that's such a strong connection that I have towards her. I'm not saying she has dreams about me. She doesn't know who I am. And if she does have dreams about me, well, it's coincidence, even though I don't believe in coincidences. It was meant to because we're soulmates. I hope that that came off as a joke and wasn't taken too seriously. But no, yeah. If I have dreams of her, it's because I know her, or at least I feel like that's what it is. I do believe in alternate timelines and that dreams are gateways to alternate timelines. So maybe in one of these timelines, my alternate self is having a blast and has a close relationship with Snow. So good for him. I'm glad for him. And that I could live vicariously through him. But yeah, I guess I started talking about Snow product for a long time. My bad. My point was, I feel like she's my soulmate, and soulmates don't necessarily have to have this deep romantic attachment towards each other. We're just here for each other to learn lessons. Yeah, I do believe in previous lifetimes, and the way I see soulmates is also people that we've had around for multiple lifetimes, not just one, not two, not three, but multiple lifetimes. Those people have been around us, whether it be our direct family, our friends, cousins, workers, whatever they may be. We've had them around in multiple timelines, and that's why we keep drawing towards each other and having that instantaneous connection with one another, because we can already perceive, or at least our body and our mind can perceive, that we know this person from another lifetime. So it's that instant connection. Same thing with twin flames. But I feel like twin flames is more like we've known each other for maybe 1, 2, 3 lifetimes, and we still have a lot to learn from one another. Therefore, we are mirrors of one another, and we show ourselves our flaws and our virtues. So, yeah, that's what I feel like twin flames and soulmates are. Now, can a soulmate be your twin flame at the same time, or can your twin flame be your soulmate at the same time? Absolutely. I feel like I've had one one interaction that I could say that person was or is my soulmate as well as my twin flame, because when I met this person, it was a little bit before COVID, I believe. And again, I don't believe in coincidences, but the first time they messaged me through this dating app, and this dating app is for queer people. No, it wasn't Grindr, or it was for queer people. But yeah, they messaged me saying, "Hello, I would like to learn more about being spiritual and what it means and how I could tap into energy." And that was because in my profile, I did put that I was very spiritual, in tune with energy, work with energy. And when they messaged me, I replied with, of course, and I noticed that they were in my hometown. And I said, yeah, whenever you want, we could do lessons. I could teach you what I know and how I untapped this ability, and how you can learn different abilities as well. Um, and it all comes from the universe within us some may call that essence within us God. So God allows us to have these abilities and learn different abilities because they can be useful to us. We are God descendant, if you want to look at it that way. We are God descendant. We are creator beings. We create. Everything in our reality is created by our perception. So every time you change your perception, you're changing your reality. So it's always good to have a positive perception or outlook on life. But anyway, this person never messaged back after I messaged them. And I don't know how long time passed by, but on Facebook dating, same person messaged me and was like, hello, and because their name is so unique, you don't really hear it often or see it often, at least not that I've seen here in my town. I asked them, your name seems familiar to me. Did you happen to have certain application before? They said yes. And I told them, I think you blocked me or deleted me. And they said, no, I deleted the application same day, basically. Same day that they messaged me. And we started talking, and it was like an I get you moment. And we didn't meet till later. And when we did meet, I remember we met around COVID time where people weren't really taking it all that serious. It was like in 2019, I think. When we met, and people weren't taking it seriously. And I believe I forgot what they called it. The quarantine law had not taken effect, so people didn't really care at that point. But yeah, we met, we talked, we went for a walk, and there was this instant connection. And it almost felt like there was this friction between us. But we met again, and well, we ended up having a kiss a couple times. But the first time was kind of special because it was accepted on his end and my end, or their end and my end. And we just let it be. We didn't make it a big deal. We just let it be. And it was understood, it was understood from both our parts. And it felt for a while like, okay, let's forget about the kiss and continue to get to know one another, the more we got to know one another, the more the instant connection grew. It was like we would vent to each other, and it was like, you don't have to explain yourself. Like, I know what you mean. I know exactly how you're feeling. And we tried to help one another mutually. But, okay, I'm gonna make the long story short. Long story short, rewind a couple years, and they finally get their own place, and they got away from an environment that they didn't feel comfortable in 100%. And I did the same thing before. So I did remove myself from an environment that I did not feel comfortable 100%. And so, you know the saying, as beloved, so below? Twin flames are very much the same way. As above, so below. As outside, so inside. So whatever you feel inside is manifested outside, but what you feel outside is manifested inside. But yeah, that's what happened. They got their own place, and we started hanging out more so than before. There was this trust that we had on Facebook. This person had an insecurity of putting up profile pictures. When they did, they would do it dressed feminine. And like, I loved watching them, watching their profile pictures, because it's like, oh, you finally accepted that part of yourself. I'm so proud of you. And actually, they told me once that they weren't as confident as me. And to me, that was like, well, I'm not 100% confident, but I do push my limits. I do push myself and try to be a better self for myself by accepting myself even further. And I do have pictures out there in feminine clothing. I'm okay with that. But this person was not. They would remove those pictures almost like right away. But anyway, yeah, that instant connection, that understanding we had from the beginning, soulmate. But then we started to hold our mirrors up. I have that feminine energy and masculine energy with me, and they were still figuring whether their energy was masculine or feminine. And we did have discussions about this, like, what is feminine, because feminine, what could be perceived as feminine in a certain part of the world could be perceived as masculine in another. And I was like, no, you're completely right. Feminine and masculine expressions like clothing, makeup, heels, the way you set up your hair, if you use makeup or not. All of that is a social structure made up by people in different parts of the world, and it's all made up for the same reason, to divide people. Not going into that, but I had already figured it out for me. I'm neither masculine nor feminine, but I am both. And they were still figuring it out. But at least from my perspective, they were afraid to. Because one time we said we were going to do each other's makeup and hair and nails. So I let them do me, and when I wanted to do them, they kind of backed off. I was like, okay, they don't feel comfortable with it, it's fine. So that's the twin flame part. You hold up your own insecurities and your own virtues at the same time towards each other. And if that becomes an intense relationship, if there's an emotion so intense within that relationship, it will blow up. And sometimes it can be one-sided. So this person would come to me for readings as well, and they would do so often. And every time they would tell me, you told me the same thing last time, you told me the same thing last time. And I would give them options, like, you could do this and the outcome will change. But they would stick to their own routine, their own way of thinking, and that's fine. Like, it's what you choose. I'm not gonna force you to take what I think is the most positive outcome for you. You have to discover it for yourself. But they kept taking the other outcome. So the readings would repeat themselves over and over and over. And it came to the point where they texted me and they said that I wasn't a good friend, that I was enabling them, or no, hold on. They didn't say that. That was my inner dialogues, thinking about how possibly they wanted me to enable them. Because they had a lot going, and sometimes people just want to hear, like, oh, poor you, it sucks for you. Like, maybe that's what they wanted. I'm not sure, because they weren't 100% expressive when it came to their emotions. They stood aside from their emotion. And I'm not calling them emotionless. They have emotions, they're just scared to step into them. But they did say that I was a bad friend, and that when they told me about a crush that they had, that basically I told them that if it wasn't right, it wasn't right. When I remember specifically saying step by step that if they kept hanging out and he kept having those emotions for that person, to first of all make sure that that person was of our community. If not, they might destroy the relationship, the friendship. And if it was a true friendship, I did say, if it was a true friendship, uh, you could have also talked to them directly. I don't want this to ruin our friendship, and I want to know because I've been feeling some things from you and their mixed messages. Like, do you feel this way about me? Or would you like to feel that way about me? And I guess their fear won them over, the knowing and the not knowing part. So they lashed out on me because they stepped back. They completely severed that relationship from fear of knowing whether they were going to be corresponded or not, which was fine to me. I know we had a kiss here and there were multiple kisses, and I was working at their pace. I wanted them to feel comfortable. If they didn't feel comfortable, I wasn't going to feel comfortable. So that's why I never pushed them into anything. And that's actually another thing that they said, that I pushed them past their comfort levels, but I didn't. I didn't push them. When you push somebody, you're forcing them. When you're cheering them on and guiding them, that's something else that people can perceive as being pushed. When they're stuck in a dark mentality, you're pushing me. When actually all you're doing is, that's the path. You could take the right path, the left path, or you could go stay where you are. Go sit under that tree and chill for a while you make your decisions. That was me in that relationship with that friend. Me guiding them, letting them know like there are different paths you could take. But I guess they felt pushed, and they made me feel shitty for a half a second when I read the whole text, because it was a whole book, basically. No, it was a long ass message. It took me like 3 scrolls, maybe 4 scrolls to get through the whole thing. And they were being hurtful, and I feel like the reason that they were being hurtful was because they had to sever, or they felt the need to sever that friendship, to not find out whether they were being liked or not, because a straight guy was, or a seemingly straight guy was inviting him to hang out, to go for dinner, go play video games, go to the arcade, go hang out at the mall. Like, at least in my experience, yes, straight guys will go to the store together. They'll grab a bite to eat together. But the way that he explained it to me is like, yeah, possibly he has a crush for you as well, and he doesn't want to verbalize it either. But yeah, he did say hurtful things, but they only hurt for half a second because in reality, all I did was try to guide him. Whether he chose me as a friend or even more than a friend, um, or not, I was fine with that choice. I learned from my past that if people just don't feel don't feel good about themselves or others, it will never end well. You know how I said he had his own place? Well, I had come back to that environment I had removed myself previously. Later on, he went back to his environment where he doesn't feel 100% comfortable in. So he repeated my my pattern again, twin flames. We repeat patterns and we weren't learning from one another. So that's why that relationship burst. Even though I was putting in the work in the relationship, our personal lives could have been affecting the relationship as well. In this case, and I'm not like blaming them, I'm not blaming them, but in this case, a lot of things may have happened at once. Maybe their home life, work life, and social life all collided at the same time, took it out on me, and that's why our flames might have came together and extinguished each other. So that's part of what um being a twin flame, a soulmate at the same time might look like. It's different in every situation. But twin flames, soulmates, and I feel like there should be a better word for a twin flame and a soulmate at the same time. Um oh, because I forgot to mention, because a twin flame that's a soulmate at the same time, or a soulmate that's a twin flame at the same time, um, is usually a person that you've been around with for for lifetimes, not just a couple lifetimes, but you've been around them for a while in your past lives, but you haven't been able to uh, deal with your spiritual baggage, your whether it be karma, dharma, whatever it may be. You haven't dealt with it. You haven't done the work within each other to mend um that situation. So that's why they become both soulmates and twin flames. And I dare you, I know it's late, but if you listen to this podcast again and you drink, I dare you to drink a shot, to take a shot every time you hear the word twin flame or soulmate. But yeah, and usually soulmates who are twin flames at the same time, we are born into into that circle. Usually there are blood family. There are soulmates, but there are also are twin flames. Like in my case, like I said, my blood family gets me, but they don't get me 100%. So there's the soulmate part. Without the 100%. But they're also a twin flame because we hold up mirrors to one another. And whenever I speak to my blood family, I'm listening to what they're saying, and I'm like, there's that mirror, that mirror is telling me I need to look within myself. And when it comes to complete strangers, I don't get that feeling. It's only when it comes to people who are or have been twin flames in my life. But I guess we did go a little off track, but that's okay because it's all relevant, and I hope everybody has lovely holidays and that you are with your family, with your friends, with whoever you may be with. Maybe they're strangers, but have a good time, have a healthy time, and remember that we are all living in a spectrum. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. And remember to, before I completely sign off, remember you could send me questions through, well, you could comment on Spotify on itself, but if you have specific questions or you want advice, you have my email in the about section. It is imbalancing the spectrum podcast at gmail.com. And oh, I might have said that wrong. Shit. So much for logging off quickly. Okay. The actual email is imbalancing the spectrum .podcast at gmail.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram at imbalancing the spectrum .pod. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. And again, remember, we are all living in a spectrum.